Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling City Podcast. My name is Taylor,
And I'm Ryler.
and we hope you all are having a great weekend. I know I am because we get to talk about some wrestling. How was your week?
Good, busy, wrapping up school. I still have half my semester left, but this week coming up, like as I'm recording, this is the first weekend for my spring break. So I am very excited. That means I can have some time to watch Raw this Monday. I can at least keep up with it a little bit more since I have less on my plate. And yeah, there's been a lot. We've been saying that every single week. There is a lot that's going on in wrestling right now. And
Hmm.
this is just another week of it continuing to build. We're getting closer and closer on the road to WrestleMania right now.
Yeah, we got about 28 days left, and like you said, just every week it's just getting crazier and crazier as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania. As always, we'll be talking about Raw and SmackDown, everything that happened on both those shows this week. And we're actually going to talk about something that we don't talk about a whole lot on this channel, and that is AEW. And that is because we're going to be talking about Sting some. Uh, and like, we don't hate AEW or anything. It's just not something that I'll watch, but I did watch AEW Revolution last week just to see Sting's final match. And man, for a guy his age, he still he still got it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, with these type of people that are these big of stars, I mean, Sting has been in what WCW, he was in TNA, WWE for a little bit, and now he's in AEW. So he has really transcended the wrestling, not just wrestling companies. He's Sting as a person, and his retirement, we have been building up to it for I think like a few months at this point. I mean, we've known this. I mean, it was inevitable. He's getting to that age, but at least to have a proper send-off retirement for him was great to see. I'm glad that he at least got his moment. It didn't go out to some sort of injury or some unfortunate circumstances. He actually got to go out on his own terms.
Yeah, he went out as a champion, and that kind of reminds me of like when other like sport athletes it kind of reminds me of when Peyton Manning he won the Super Bowl in his final year as an NFL quarterback, and Sting he goes out as a champion as a the AEW tag team champion with Darby Allin. And man, that match that they had with the Young Bucks was it was awesome. The entrance that I thought for Sting was pretty cool. He came out with his sons. Yeah, he had both of his sons there, and one of his sons was dressed up as Surfer Sting, and then you had his other son was dressed up as like the Crow. Is that what you call? I can't remember what they
Crow,
call
yeah,
it. He had
Crow.
like the yeah, and it was pretty cool. And the match was, I mean, AEW when they do these matches, I mean, there is, they're really like gory. They use a lot of, they try to use like a lot of blood in these matches.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of those kind of matches, but there was one spot, Sting took a suplex off the top of the entrance, like through a table or something, and then later on in the match, Darby Allin like climbed up on top of a ladder, and they had like a sheet of glass on some chairs on the outside of the ring, and he goes to do a front flip on one of the I want to say it was Matt Jackson, but Nick Jackson pulls him out of the way, and Darby Allin just goes right through the plate of glass, and as soon as he hits it, man, his back all over just starts bleeding.
Yes, I did see that online. So I mean, I'm just gonna be upfront. I do not like AEW. So I figure instead of just being a hater and just blah blah blah, constantly talking on social media and still watching their product, I just don't really pay attention, you know? But I will say that I do like that there is a fine line between all this extra, I guess, violence to add to it and then too much violence. Now, I think that the the whole, suplex through the glass or whatnot, that was going crazy on social media, on Twitter for a little bit. I do think that was pretty cool. However, I do think it was a little like real glass. I don't think you really had to do that. I guess it did add the visual effect of like, yeah, like you said, his back was torn up. He was bleeding a whole bunch. I don't know if maybe it was like fake glass and it just somehow like off of that, that high up, it just still messed him up, maybe. But no, I'm thinking it was real glass. I saw a lot of people saying that there were some people in the crowd that apparently like when the impact was so hard that when the glass shattered, it all went into like the crowd. So the people at ringside
Hmm.
got glass like all in their hair or whatnot. So there's going to be some lawsuits about that. Now, how enforceable it is, I am not 100% sure. They did have some clauses that like allow them to say we're not liable for these damages or whatnot, but just because you say that doesn't mean you aren't liable. It really depends on what the courts determine. But it was still a great moment. And yeah, like you said, he goes out on top. I mean, he's not the world champion, but still a champion nonetheless. And if I'm not mistaken, he was undefeated. So yeah,
Yeah,
great
yeah,
way to
he went
end.
like 28-0, I believe, in his AEW run.
Yeah,
And
yeah, they treated him
and
right.
then yeah, and another thing about that the glass spot that Darby Allin did, apparently they like rehearsed that like earlier on during the day, and they took like extra measures with this spot. Apparently, like they had a another finish set up if Darby wasn't able to like you know um continue in the match from that spot, and they had like doctors like ringside somewhere just to be ready for when that spot happened. And
How are they gonna recreate or practice a superplex outside the ring through a pane of glass? I guess maybe
uh,
it's like onto like a bed sheet or like a sh landing pad or something like that.
hmm
I don't know. At least they took some precautions when it comes to it, though. I really don't like when, yeah, like I said, there is moments where it's violence that adds to that feud, makes it more significant, and times where they're just being just hardcore to be hardcore. It kind of reminds me of like those backyard indie shows, and I don't think that crossed that line necessarily. I think it was just to a point where it just added, made it more significant. Obviously, regardless of what they do, regardless of what company does, there's still going to be people that are going to criticize it. But I think that it was booked okay. Yeah, good
hmm
final send off.
yeah, it definitely was. And they had Sting, he was like Superman during that match. He took some I mean there was one time where the Young Bucks hit the like double like uh V trigger, whatever it's called, where they like take their knee and just like hit him in the face with it, and then he kicks out at one, and he gets up and he kind of does like the Hulk Hogan, where he
Yeah.
gets up and starts doing the Hulk up and everything. But yeah, what a career for Sting it was. He is finally retired, and I really hope he enjoys his retirement. He deserves it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Best of luck to him.
And there, I saw a lot of people complaining that they didn't use any WWE footage when they did this. They showed this they put this package together for Sting before he made his entrance, and they showed some WCW stuff, some AEW stuff, but they didn't show any WWE stuff. And everybody thought, oh, WWE doesn't want to send them any footage. We went just whining. And then Monday Night on Raw, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee actually, they acknowledged Sting in his retirement match. And apparently AEW, apparently like they never asked WWE for any footage. So
Well, I imagine that WWE owns all of the library footage to WCW, so
hmm
I imagine they could have used WWE footage if they wanted to, but well, I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know all the legal stuff around that, but I could see them not even asking. You don't really I mean, I guess this is a little thing that transcends just it's his career, so it goes beyond this company feud type situation. But yeah, I wouldn't imagine why. And even then, in WWE, I mean, his WWE run was not very good. I mean, he had a match with what? He lost to Triple H and then lost to Seth Rollins, and that was it. So I don't
yeah.
really know what they would take from that very much. Uh, but I mean that makes sense. You don't really acknowledge the competition live on TV like that. I mean, even like when Luke Harper ended up passing away, that was a little bit of a situation, not like that, similar in the way that it transcended the company beefs. They still didn't then. You're not just going to put AEW footage on there. You're going to use what you can work with. Um,
hmm
so yeah, I mean that makes sense. People are just getting upset to get upset.
Yeah, like always. So I guess now that we got that out of the way, we can get to Monday Night Raw. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins kicked off Monday Night Raw. And at first, Cody Rhodes, he mentioned that 21-minute promo that The Rock posted on social media last week, and he starts talking about that, he's he said something about where The Rock like talked about his dog, and he was like, "Don't you ever like mention my dog again?" And and then he tells Seth Rollins to come out. Seth Rollins comes out and he starts off by saying that he is 100% medically cleared to compete in the ring again. About time.
Yeah, finally. I mean, it's only been like what, like a month and a half. I think him and Jinder happened in yeah, probably like mid-January, right? So
hmm
I'm glad that he's at least recovered good. I mean, I figured this wouldn't be put him out for too long. Didn't he? Was it his no, his tricep was CM Punk. But I know that
It
it
was his knee. It was his
his knee.
left knee, I believe.
Okay, okay. So I mean, he's had issues with his legs for quite a while. But I figured it wasn't something that was going to put him on the shelf for a super long time. I'm just glad to see that he has finally gotten the signal he's good to go. We were already had the not clear absolutely, but they were predicting that he would be good to go by WrestleMania. So he has plenty of time to add to, his feud with Drew McIntyre. Now he can do ring work to add to that. And yeah, I'm glad to see it. It was a great little addition to this segment. I thought yeah, I mean they've also put he didn't have a match this week, but he did get a little physical in the ring. So I think
hmm
they're just testing out the waters this week, making sure that he's okay in the ring.
Yeah, I saw a report that apparently he's supposed to be doing some like house shows this weekend.
He's already
So
on the grind. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that because just one little minor slip up and he can get hurt again. But I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, if he wants to do it, then go ahead. I mean, I'm not going to stop him from doing that. But I just want him to be 100%.
Yeah,
When
you
we
don't
get to
want to return.
WrestleMania.
You don't want to return before you're absolutely cleared because you can end up making it worse.
hmm
Hopefully that's not the case. I mean, he just needs to just not, put on absolute like five-star clinic type matches every single week on TV. He can just have some shorter matches, maybe put him in like, I don't know, somehow put him in like a tag team match or something, somewhere where he doesn't have to put all of the work in for that match. He could take a break every once in a while and then have his big match where he can pull out all the stops at, WrestleMania. It's
Hmm.
also two matches, so that's really gonna be a test for his his making sure that he's okay. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to guess, I feel like, during like on Raws and SmackDowns, they might just have him do some like segments and then maybe like on some house shows he could have some matches because I know like house show matches aren't always like as intense as they are when they do like live show matches. So we'll see
Yeah.
though.
I imagine they'll just do some shorter matches or just some like promos or whatnot during that.
Yeah. I for the most part I enjoyed this segment. The one thing I didn't really enjoy so much was Seth Rollins called The Rock Diarrhea Dwayne. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of cringed a little bit. And and then he said that it's like wet baby poop or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Uh,
oof.
they were not cooking. I
No.
did not think this promo was very good. I thought we could have absolutely went without it. I don't know what they would have done instead, but it's just certain segments you can so tell when it's just you can tell this was a part of the script. Even when they're usually obviously all these segments are going to have these bullet points and be scripted almost down to the T, but there are segments where it feels more authentic, like they're actually beefing, like they're talking from the heart. But this just felt so, ugh, just
Hmm.
diarrhea.
Yeah.
Man. That just so PG. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
baby poop. I don't know. This didn't hit for me.
Yeah, no, it didn't either. And then yeah, Seth Rollins just says that he's going to be at SmackDown this week. He says that he has Cody's back, and then he asks Cody if he has his back, and then Cody just says, "I guess I got an announcement for The Rock as well," and just pretty much says that he will be at SmackDown this week, face to face. So, and then
Yeah, it was an
that
okay
was the,
segment, I guess. It
and
did what
then
it was supposed to do, but
yeah,
not anything that crazy.
no, not really. So then after that, we had a match between Nia Jax and Becky Lynch, and this match ends up ending in a DQ because Liv Morgan decides to come out through the crowd and attacks Nia Jax, and then her and Becky Lynch, like she gets in the ring with Becky Lynch, and they start, saying a few words to each other, and then Nia Jax would end up pulling them both out of the ring and laying both of them out. Uh, it looks like they're gonna go to a fatal four way match with all these people at WrestleMania. I hope not, but I mean, with the story they're telling here and with everything that's gone on since pretty much the Raw after Elimination Chamber, it looks like that's their direction they're going.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. And like you said, I agree. I hope it doesn't end up being that. I kind of just want it to be a one-on-one between Becky and Rhea Ripley. Nia Jax is already like lost clean, so I just don't want to see it. But
Hmm.
with Liv Morgan coming out, being added to this, yeah, I think that it's going to end up being a fatal four-way. But it's so they're making Nia Jax look pretty strong. And to her credit, she has improved in the ring. She has not injured anybody since then. So I
Hmm.
think that she has been getting better. But Liv Morgan, so she came out, they were in the middle of this fight or whatever. So me and you were talking during this match, and I was saying like I don't see either having some sort of win right now because both of them would mess up what they're building. So I figured it would be
Hmm.
like a DQ or a double count out. So that did happen. They did it with, like I said, Liv Morgan coming out, but she did one move. She did like a Hurricane Rana. I forget. She did it to Nia Jax, I think, right? When she was on the outside or something. And Then she came in, argued with Becky Lynch, and got beat up. Like literally, she hit one Hurricane Rana, and then got they
Oh,
both.
she actually like got up on top of the barricade and kind of did like a Superman punch almost to Nia Jax. That's what it was. Like
Okay, okay,
jumped up
yeah.
and like punched her in the face and then got in the ring and just started yelling at Becky Lynch.
Yeah, okay, okay, regardless. Yeah, she did
Yeah.
one or maybe two then moves, and then she got beat up. So they had like some sort of segment after where she was basically, I forget what her justification was, but they were just adding the between the tension, making it thicker between Becky and Liv. She was wondering like why she came out and cost her the match. And yeah,
Hmm.
she really didn't do very much. I mean, I guess just to make Nia Jax look stronger, but she has no reason to be added to this Fatal 4-Way. So if you just come out during a match, you can get a title shot. I thought that was a little weird. I mean, she hasn't done anything. What has Liv Morgan done in the past, like, I mean, was she in the chamber? I mean, she lost, but was she
Yeah,
in
she
the chamber?
was.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
well, yeah, she was like she ended up being in like the final two pretty much because I know Becky Lynch eliminated her
okay.
to
Yeah,
pretty
she
much
was in
win
the
the
final two.
chamber.
You're right. So she lost the number one contenders match, you know, yeah, not the number one contender, and then does one move, gets beat up, and then now also becomes the number one contender. I hope they clarify it the next few weeks. I mean, this is the first, segment where this was where she was involved like that, where it was becoming more clear that it could be a fatal four-way. Uh,
Hmm.
but I'm hoping they definitely give her a reason to be added to this match. Maybe some sort of like Liv versus Nia, and if she wins, she can be added, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, well, that whole thing actually led to a Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch match for Raw this week. So,
Oh, okay, okay. So at least there, yeah, that makes sense.
and if I had to guess, I'm pretty sure Nia Jax will interrupt during that match too, just like
It's gonna end in a
just
DQ.
like Liv Morgan.
Yep.
Yeah, just like Liv Morgan did last week.
I'm hoping that they do some sort of like Nia Jax interferes, but it doesn't cause a DQ, and then Liv Morgan wins by some sort of if they're going with a fatal four way. Because her
Yeah,
having a win over her would then be like, oh, I just beat the number one contender, so she has a reason, not another DQ.
yeah, I don't know. Uh, we shall see though. I mean, yeah, like Nia Jax, like she's improved a lot, since she returned. I mean, she's getting a little bit better in the ring, but I think just keep it to a one-on-one match between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, and then maybe at like Backlash or something, you could do like a Fatal 4-Way or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I hope.
So after that, we have a announcement from Adam Pearce, and he announced that there will be a gauntlet match taking place on next week's edition of Monday Night Raw, and it will determine the number one contender for Gunther and his IC title at WrestleMania. So the participants in this match are Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, Shinsuke Nakamura, JD McDonough, and Ricochet. Now, me and you were talking about this the other day, and we are talking about like who we want to win this match, and I'm torn between two people. I'm really torn between Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. And dude, like I really want to see Chad Gable get this win, really, more than I do Sami Zayn.
So for me, yeah, it's no competition. I absolutely want Sami Zayn to win this match. I think that so from these from these selections that you just listed, I think the only ones that really make that much sense are going to be Sami Zayn or Chad Gable. I mean, I guess you could go with any of the other ones, but like at WrestleMania, they all don't really sound like a match I mean, Ricochet, he's already beaten several times clean. JD McDonough, I mean, he's not gonna win this match.
Nah.
Uh, Nakamura, I mean, I guess a heel versus a heel would be a little weird. Bronson Reed
Yeah,
care much for. So those two really only make those make the most sense out of all of these. And Gable has already lost to Gunther like what, three times or was it
he
just two?
lost to him twice. He
Okay,
lost to him
so he
twice,
lost to him
but
twice in the past, what was that, maybe 2 months ago? Uh,
yeah, it was something like that. But
and
still,
it's done
dude.
nothing since.
I
So
mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
but
I guess if he wins his match, it makes sense. But and the same argument can go for Sami Zayn. I mean, I guess when you use this booking logic, you can kind of, there's a lot of logical, some stuff in wrestling just doesn't make sense. So that's fair enough. But
mhm.
Sami Zayn, man, have we seen Sami Zayn and Gunther yet? I don't think we have. Um,
I really can't. I'm not sure if we have or not. Actually,
yeah,
I want to say
maybe.
no, or maybe we did,
I
but I just
think
can't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure we have seen it one time on a random Raw last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I,
But
I think you're right. Yeah,
or I guess it would be SmackDown. Either way, though, I'm pretty sure we have seen it once. But I would love to see that at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn, I mean, he was in the main event of WrestleMania last year. I just,
yeah.
and now I don't know what he would do if he didn't win this match. Uh, and I think he deserves it. I mean, I think they at least gave him a win this week on Raw. Sami Zayn faced, who was it that he was
Ivar.
again? Ivar, yes. And it was an okay match. Sami Zayn ended up getting the win, and Bronson Reed attacked him after. So this was
Hmm.
kind of just to build to this next week's, the match on Raw, that gauntlet match. But yeah, this is the time to start building Sami Zayn. I'm really hoping he gets this win. I wouldn't be upset if Chad Gable wins. I think he's very deserving of it too. He is a good talent, and I do like his character. He's funny.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, I'm going for my man Sami Zayn.
I don't know, like you said, like Chad Gable does deserve this, and he posted a video on social media like last week, talking about how much he wants this match with Gunther because I know like during their last feud, he like mentioned like Chad Gable's kids and like made him cry, so that's like in the back of like Chad Gable's mind, so he just wants to like get him back for that, but. See, because like my issue with this is if Sami Zayn like doesn't win this gauntlet match, then I don't know like what you said. I don't know what else he could do because at first we thought he
Yeah.
we'd see the triple threat between him, Drew, and Rollins for the world title match, but it kind of looks like that's just been like pushed off to the side. I mean, you still got like 3 weeks left, so maybe they could find a way to put him in there, but I don't know. Like right now, it looks like they're not going in that direction anymore.
If
But
they went with Chad Gable winning, maybe they could do Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed at WrestleMania. I mean, I guess that would be a different way, but it's just, yeah, I really don't want to see that. Uh,
yeah,
man, I really want to see him versus Gunther. I think that would be a fantastic matchup.
yeah, because when Adam Pearce like started off that announcement, I thought he was going to announce like a
The
ladder match.
six-man
I think I
ladder,
think
yep.
that's what me and you were thinking, and then he announced this gauntlet match. So I mean,
It's
I mean,
cool
I'd be
though.
fine
Yeah.
with yeah. I mean, like because I'd be fine with either Sami Zayn or Chad Gable winning, but I really want Chad Gable to win this. He deserves it. I mean, they both deserve it, but I'm rooting for Chad
Yeah.
Gable.
And I really like gauntlet matches too. I think that
Hmm.
especially like on a Raw, I remember Seth Rollins had one, and I think it was 2018, and it was like I don't think it was half the Raw, but it was a very long.
I want to say it was like 60 minutes,
Yeah,
right? I mean, it was a
it was a
very long
pretty
time.
long time, and I don't think it's going to be like that because people like JD McDonough and Ricochet, I don't think they're going to be their matches aren't going to be as long. Like I think JD with I can imagine only being a few minutes, then R-Truth comes out or something and cost him the match, so they just quickly move on. And then maybe Ricochet just gets beat up. I mean, he's just put in there to put in there. He's not going to win. So I think those are going to make the match shorter, but they can still, those ones like Zayn, Gable, Bronson Reed, Nakamura, they can put those in great matches and make this at
Hmm.
least 40 something minutes.
Yeah. I'd really like to see I'd really like to see Gable be the Iron Man in this kind of matchup.
Yeah, that
I
would
think
be,
he'd kill it.
yep. Maybe if like he faces Bronson Reed, seeing him do that little roll out, like
Oh
jumping
yeah.
suplex thing, you
Hmm.
know, he's always done
Dude.
those impressive ones. I remember he did it to Braun Strowman. Um, I mean, he's done it to Gunther. I think him doing that would look pretty impressive. So yeah, him being Iron,
Yeah.
I could definitely rock with that. I think that's cool.
Mhm. I think he should be first, run through everybody else and then have Sami Zayn be the last guy and then just let them two just go at it for a little bit and then
Yeah,
just let those two be the final two.
that makes sense. Yeah.
We'll see though. I'll be rooting for Chad Gable. I mean, either of them I'm fine with winning, but that's who I'm rooting for. Monday
I
night is
think
Chad Gable.
what I see is my prediction for that, because what you were saying with him coming out first and going all the way to Zayn being last, I don't think they would do that because then Bronson Reed and Nakam or Zayn wouldn't interact at all. So what I imagine happening, my if I was to predict this, I would think Gable would come out first, run through everybody. Bronson would come out second to last, eliminate Gable, and then it would be Bronson and Zayn in the last two, and Zayn wins. I mean, it's my prediction. I'm not saying I don't think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the best one would be what you said, but with them booking what they did last week with that Bronson and Zayn, I don't think they're just gonna have Gable beat him and move on because then they wouldn't clash at all during that match. But anything's possible with these type of matches.
Mhm. Yeah. We shall see. I look forward to that matchup. It'll be a fun match.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
Hmm. For sure. After that, I guess we can just get to the main event for that night. It was Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. It was a pretty fun match. I enjoyed it for the most part. So during the match, towards the tail end of this, Solo Sikoa starts making his way to the ring through the crowd, and then Cody Rhodes comes out and he just runs Solo off. And then moments after, Jimmy Uso appears at ringside and he distracts Jey Uso just long enough for Drew to hit the Claymore, and Drew McIntyre picked up the win.
Yeah, I mean it was okay.
Drew's been getting a lot of help from the bloodline in these wins recently.
Yeah, he has. I mean, at least he's the thing about these main events these past few weeks is they've just been so like you just you know how it's gonna end. Like what was it? Was it last week that was Jey Uso and Gunther? Uh, or was it two
Week
weeks ago?
before, it was two
Okay.
weeks ago.
Okay, well, and what was last week's main event? Regardless, it was Cody and was it Cody and
Cody and Grayson Waller, that's what it was.
Cody and Grayson Waller. Regardless, we've been having these main events where it's you kind of know who's going to win and how it's going to end.
Hmm.
The IC title match, we knew that Jimmy was going to come out and cost him the match, start up the WrestleMania feud. Um, Last week, obviously, Rhodes was going to win. And then Bloodline was going to try and come out and mess with him after. And then this week, it was obviously we knew Drew McIntyre was going to win because Jimmy came out and distracted him. It's cool. I mean, I guess, you know, matches can be predictable as long as they're good and it's a ending
Hmm.
want. So I do think it was nice to build up, give Drew McIntyre another win, and him over winning over Jey Uso is nothing to sneeze at. Jey Uso has been booked pretty good the past few months, so he's got another win. But yeah, it was kind of just there to be there, you know. Like I said, usually every week it seems like there's the less meaningful Raws before they build up to the next week where that's where all the impactful stuff is. So that kind of is just what it felt like, just a main event for the sake of having a main event. But
Hmm.
it was an okay match for what it is. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but I mean, like you said, it was pretty predictable. So after, so like, Jimmy Uso comes out, distracts Jay, Drew gets the win, and then Drew starts making his way out of the ring, and then Jimmy goes to the timekeeper area and grabs a steel chair, and he's getting ready to get into the ring, and attacks Jay Uso some more, but then Seth Rollins runs down to the ring, and he actually runs right past Drew McIntyre in
Yeah.
the entranceway, and he just gets in the ring and fights off Jimmy Uso, and he kind of starts like taunting at him, and then Seth Rollins turns around and eats a claymore from Drew McIntyre, and Drew just kind of grabs the title and just it's kind of like leaning over him, and he tells Seth, "Don't be selfish, don't taint the world title, do the right thing." Pretty much telling him like, stay out of the Bloodline's business, because if he doesn't, then obviously they're going to like interfere with his match with Seth Rollins, and they had that amazing shot where he was like leaned over, he was just standing over Seth Rollins. You had the WrestleMania sign in the background. I thought that was
Yeah. Yeah, like I said,
man.
whenever they do that, you know those are going to be in the hype package for it. They always have to
Hmm.
get a clear shot with the WrestleMania sign in the background. Um, I do think him coming out like and it walking by him, it kind of reminded me of like when LA Knight did that, if you remember that, with like
Hmm.
Rhodes was holding up his title and then the background LA
Oh
was
yeah,
taped it and
yeah.
he would walk past him like he didn't exist. I do like when they do that. Yeah, and I thought it was just cool. Yeah, like I said, this entire segment was almost just a build up for all these different rivalries, feuds going into WrestleMania. They're definitely adding more tension between Rollins and McIntyre. It's just so crazy that this is all happening because of CM Punk's injury. Um, things would have been so much different if that didn't happen,
Hmm.
but they're doing so good with what they have to work with. This was an on the fly type of booking. And they've done good so far. I mean, McIntyre's been booked great. He still stood tall, and you can see his I mean, he's passionate. He wants to win that world title, and that's definitely what they're effectively communicating with these segments.
Yeah. I mean, this story with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre is just so good because, like, Seth Rollins' obsession with the bloodline, he's trying to save WWE, but he's kind of overlooking his biggest threat in Drew McIntyre, and Drew's constantly having to remind him that, don't worry about them. You need to be worrying about me because, I'm coming for that title. And like I said last week, I mean, it looks like they're doing this story where Rollins' obsession with the bloodline is going to, come back and screw him over pretty much, cost him the world title.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen too. It's crazy how effectively they're doing this like multi-booking. They're doing so many feuds within one big like program. I can't think of I mean there's probably been another time if I really went back and looked that they've done something similar to that, but I can't think of a recent time in which they've done so many different. I mean, there's Rollins and McIntyre, there's Reigns and Cody, there's Rock and Cody, there's what Rock and Rollins. I mean, everybody's beefing with each other, and they're still
Mm,
advancing every one of those individual storylines every week. So, yeah, they're doing great so far, and like you said, the feud feels personal. I mean, you know, obviously they're on working terms. They probably don't have any actual bad blood, but it feels like it because of how great of performers they are and how great how good they've been with the material they've been given. Um, yeah, I think it was pretty good. I'm excited to see what they do next week.
Yeah, and this the match between Drew and Seth Rollins for WrestleMania was actually confirmed during Monday Night Raw as the co-main event for night two. So you'll have Drew versus Seth, and then right after that you'll have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Gonna
we're
be
in for a big WrestleMania.
for sure. Before we get into SmackDown, I want to mention this was a video posted. I think Drew McIntyre posted this on his Twitter after like when he was like he was in his car and he was like driving away from the arena and he was playing CM Punk's theme song Cult of Personality in the car, just throwing more shots at CM Punk.
I did not see that, but Drew McIntyre continuing to be a savage.
Yeah, I love this character of Drew McIntyre. It's
Yeah,
so
I do
good.
too.
That does it for Raw. So now we can head over to SmackDown, and Logan Paul kicked off SmackDown, and he announced that Prime Energy or the Prime hydration drink is the official hydration drink for the WWE. And starting at WrestleMania, there is going to be a Prime bottle logo in the center of the ring, and it will continue for every PLE moving forward. What do you think about that sponsorship? I actually heard that it was the largest like sponsorship deal that they've done, like the company's done with another brand.
Yeah, I did see that too. And I mean it's crazy, but it doesn't really surprise me because UFC has had this deal for quite some time. Actually in UFC 5, like on the video game, the Prime bottle is in the middle of the octagon during every match. So
Hmm.
they've already had a sponsorship deal with UFC for, yeah, I don't know how long it's been, but at least 6 months or so. So considering that WWE is now merged with UFC to make, TKO, it doesn't surprise me. I feel like it was inevitable, especially since Logan Paul is in WWE, you know what I mean? Uh, so I think it's cool. Hopefully this means in return we don't get the ridiculous stuff that we did last year, like Dominic and Ray having cinnamon toast crunch all around the entire thing.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
cool with
yeah.
Prime bottle, maybe even not just the Prime bottle, maybe some several different sponsorships that they keep on the mat or on the turnbuckles or something during ringside, during the entire pay-per-view or PLE like they do
Hmm.
in UFC. I think it would be a lot less distracting than it being on the LED, the boards and around the ring during the
Hmm.
entire, like during
Yeah.
individual matches. Uh, I mean, I remember they did that too at SummerSlam. They did the Slim Jim Battle Royal. Um, I think that that's a better route. Now, we don't know for a fact. Maybe they're just going to do both. But I hope that means that's going to reduce the frequency of that happening. And I'm cool with saying it. I mean, Logan Paul obviously constantly has he's always promoting his prime, he's always holding it or whatnot, never drinking it
Hmm.
usually, but always just
Yeah, yeah,
um so yeah, kind of expected and good for him, I guess.
yeah. I mean, it's a good drink. I, I drink them every now and then. I get the which one is it? Like the blue, I think it's the blue raspberry or
Blue raspberry, yep. Yeah, I
yeah,
like
or
their
the
the ice pop one's pretty good.
yes, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I
Ice
think
pop.
that's my favorite one.
Which other one did I try? There was one that came out recently because I've tried basically all of them. I do enjoy them as well. Some of them more than others. But Ah, geez, what was it? There was a flavor that came out pretty recently that I thought was oh, the cherry one. There's like a I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's like a white and red bottle, and that one is very good. By far my favorite Prime. They have a
I haven't
one
had that one.
promoting. It was like strawberry banana, I think is what it is. Um,
Hmm.
I guess I'm excited to try that. I mean, Body Armor already has that flavor, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, kind of expected.
Yeah, he actually brought KSI into the ring, and they kind of did like a photo shoot just to like celebrate that they have this sponsorship with the WWE, and then Randy Orton's music hits, and they're just kind of standing there in the ring waiting for him to come down the entrance way, and he doesn't. He's nowhere to be seen, and then he comes out from like underneath the ring and he just like slides into the ring and he gets ready. He turns Logan Paul around to hit the RKO, and then Logan Paul is just able to escape. And KSI, he's just standing there, continuing to look at the entranceway, like he
Yeah.
like he didn't hear Randy Orton behind him or anything. Maybe he didn't, but and then Logan Paul is like standing pretty much in the entranceway now, and KSI is still just standing there, like just like looking at Paul,
Look,
like
yeah.
what are you doing? Like what are you doing? And then Randy Orton eventually turns KSI around and hits him with an RKO, and Logan Paul's just sitting there like what the.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool, I guess. KSI, his sell for the RKO did look pretty good. Uh,
Hmm.
But it's so funny whenever you have like, people that aren't very trained in the ring, you can always tell because like when he did the RKO, he turned him around and then it was almost like okay, like, are you ready? Like he turned him around, looked at him for a second so he could, I guess, like maybe position it, give him a chance to react. Because when it's a wrestler, they just turn around and RKO, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, he turned him around, paused for a second, and then hit it. But KSI did sell it pretty nice. And it's always nice now to see with celebrities that in the past it was always like they were Superman. Like they always came in, they didn't get beat up, they always had to come out victorious. And it's nice that that's changing now. KSI, I mean, he had the sponsorship and then he got RKO'd. I don't know. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did too. And this would end up leading to a tag team match. It was Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, and they went on against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. And Randy Orton and Kevin Owens won this match. Randy Orton hit the RKO on Austin Theory, and another incredible sell from Austin Theory. Orton hit the RKO, and kind of like how he did at Elimination Chamber, he got RKO'd and kind of like rolled over to his back and almost stood like straight up on the top of his head again.
Yeah, Theory sells are fantastic. I mean, he sells the
Hmm.
stunner great. He sells the RKO great. Yeah, Theory is. Man, he's not doing very much right now. He does have his team with Waller, but they're not they're kind of just there to build other stuff and take losses when it's in an appropriate storyline. But he's so young still. I mean, he's I think he's 26, I want to say. So he
Yeah.
still has so many years ahead of him. I mean, what Randy Orton, he's in his early 40s. So like
Hmm.
he was 26 like 2005 or something like that. Maybe I'm a year off. But regardless, what I'm saying is in the beginning, it always starts off slow because you have to build them up. He has those he sells great. He's getting better in the ring. He's definitely developing his character, becoming more of a natural than he was like 2, 3 years ago. Uh but right now, I saw a lot of people online just like they're like, oh, they're not like, they're just wasting Theory right now. And it's just like, he has like, I mean, if everything went right, he still has like a decade and a half with WWE. He's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
All he would need to do is take off like 3 months or something, and then he could come back completely split from Waller and start out on his own again. He has so much time left ahead of him. Uh, and I think that right now is a good time for him to fine tune his skills. He can become better with his
Hmm.
wrestling skills. He can find out what works best with his character, and he's working on all that right now. This is just a time for him to grind and work on what he needs to work on. I mean, people were complaining that he was shoved down people's throats a few years ago, and now that they're not shoving him down people's throats, they're like, "Oh, he's being wasted." Like, dude,
Yeah, I mean,
he's
he's
taking his
26
time
years
right now.
old.
He's built. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he's like when Randy Orton came in, I mean, it took him a couple years to like get his character going when he started the Legend Killer. So, I mean, people just got to realize like, it takes time to like build characters and, to be able to like bring somebody in and immediately, put them on top.
And I
So,
definitely feel like they're gonna put him back on. Maybe I don't know about world champion. That's so you can't it's like 10 years from now, you can't really predict that, it's kind of hard. But
yeah.
I do see him winning maybe the IC title or something like that in the future if he's booked right. And I like Theory. So
Yeah, I do too.
I think he deserves it. He obviously he didn't do very good with the US title. He did have some significant wins, but now he's just taking that time so it doesn't happen like that again. It's not this letdown. I think they're
Yeah,
doing
because
right. They don't need to continue forcing him into the main event when he's not ready for it just yet.
I mean, I feel like it was after his match with Cena at WrestleMania last year. He kind of just, I don't know, it just wasn't hitting the same with his character.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's
it
just,
really wasn't. I mean, in all fairness, like what do you do after beating Cena at WrestleMania? There's not like yeah, everything in comparison is gonna go look so much less than. But
hmm
he did definitely not do they didn't capitalize on it very much at all. Um, and he yeah, just kind of faltered, just stayed where he was for quite a long time. I mean, he held the title for what, like 5 months or something like that, or maybe it was 4 months, but it definitely didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like he did.
Yeah,
There
no.
wasn't much substance to that title reign. Uh, I think that now, after he has this time on the road, all this time to build, his next reign, whenever that is going to be a lot better. Yeah, I think
hmm
so for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. And maybe they could do something with his Waller and Austin Theory thing. Maybe you could have him win the tag titles, but I don't
Yeah,
know. I guess we'd
I
have to
mean,
wait and see what
possibly.
they. hmm I mean, I don't mind them two together. I mean, I feel like they fit well together, the
I
way their
think so
characters
too,
are.
but they've got to put him in a more prominent. So
hmm
they've got to give him something more to work with if they're to keep him together. I mean,
Yeah, because right now it kind of
yeah,
seems like they have like Waller and Theory kind of like Logan Paul's like sidekicks because actually after the tag team match Friday night, Orton and Owens were just standing there in the ring, kind of just like celebrating, and then Logan Paul comes from behind and hits them both in the back, and he pulls out the brass knuckles and he goes to hit Randy Orton, but Randy Orton grabs his hand and like rips the brass knuckles off. And then he tries to hit Logan Paul. Logan Paul like ducks under, and he almost hit Kevin Owens with him. Luckily, he kind of pulled back some where he didn't, and then Logan Paul just like gets out of the ring and just walks over to Theory and Waller, and they kind of just like walk away with each other. So
yeah.
I don't know
No, they're
because
just
I
yeah. They're kind of just a placeholder for building other rivalries right now.
hmm
The spotlight
yeah.
isn't on them at the moment, but that could change in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and with that finish with everything, you had the or Orton almost hit Kevin Owens, that made me think that maybe they could do like that triple threat match for the US title with Orton, Owens and Paul. I feel like that's what it's going to lead to.
Yeah, they definitely could. I'm not sure how many multi-man matches we have at WrestleMania. It does sound like we're talking about a lot of them. A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of them have not did not actually happen though. Like we were talking about the six-man ladder match that didn't happen. Uh, what else? I mean, the women's match isn't necessarily confirmed, but I'm hoping it's not going to be all just fatal four-way triple threat or whatnot. But I would like to Owens. He didn't really have a solid end for this feud with Logan Paul. I mean, it had that, that finish at the Rumble where it was a little messed up like DQ finish, and they
Hmm.
were still beefing at Elimination Chamber. So I could see that happening, and I think that would be cool. I mean, it would be a good way to wrap up all the rivalries into one match.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I feel like that'd be pretty cool as long as they, because I mean, we've talked about like multi-man matches quite a bit on this episode with you got Rhea's title, we talked about like Gunther's title, maybe that's a multi-man match. And now we're talking about, Logan Paul's title. Maybe that could be a multi-man match. So hopefully
Yeah,
they don't do a whole lot of multi-man matches. I feel like just one or two maybe would be a perfect number for the card. I don't know,
yeah,
but we'll see though.
yeah.
After that, we actually forgot to mention this last week in our podcast. Right after we like finished recording, Ryler mentioned it. We didn't mention Tiffany Stratton last week,
What last
and
week was it? She beat Naomi, right?
yeah, and
Yeah,
then she picked up another win this week against Meechin again, and dude, it looks like they're strapping the rocket right to her back.
yeah, I mean they're definitely, and it's weird because I never really like 2 months ago. I mean, I've maybe heard of her, but I had no idea much about her. So it does seem like a very organic push. It seems like the fans are actually behind her, and the WWE's just responding to that by booking her
Hmm.
strong. It reminds me of LA Knight. It's not the same, obviously, level, but it was an organic, fan reaction that is now affecting the booking. It's not the other way around, the booking and then the fan reaction comes after. So I have enjoyed what she's been doing. I'm glad she's been getting some solid wins. And yeah, like you said last week with Naomi, I saw a bunch of people complaining about that online. Um, so I've never really enjoyed Naomi that much. I think she's just boring. I've never really enjoyed her character that much. But people are like, "Oh, she can't afford this loss or whatever." Like, first of all, it was one loss after a pretty back and forth match. And
Hmm.
also, she left the company. Last time she was in the company, she walked out when she was supposed to be in a Raw main event. Now,
Yeah.
whatever you think, oh, it was deserving, she has a right to be upset or whatnot, you still walked out during the Raw main event. I think that it makes sense that when she returns, they're not just going to start booking her all strongly and put her over who's currently being, their plans to push. She has to earn back that trust, earn back that they're not just going to immediately make her come back and start looking great. I
Yeah.
do think they could change that after a few months, but yeah, I'm glad that Tiffany Stratton got that win and it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they would do with her at WrestleMania. I feel like I don't know what they would do with her really. I mean, I feel like you'd see maybe she gets in a title picture like after Mania. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now though. Right now I think she should win the Money in the Bank for the women's when that time comes.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, if her momentum stays until then.
Hmm.
I definitely, like you said, I don't see her doing anything too big at WrestleMania. Maybe she can have some sort of miniature feud with somebody that's not being currently booked. Now who that would be, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not
maybe
either.
pre-show or something like that. Uh, but I don't see her having a big moment at WrestleMania. But after that, once she builds up, if the momentum continues, I could definitely see her winning Money in the Bank. I didn't think about that. That is a good option though, for sure.
They don't do a you know how like they do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. They don't do anything like that for the women, do they?
Yeah, they do the I don't know if it was well, it was called the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, and then they got mad because of the Fabulous Moolah is not a like good person. So they changed it to was it May Young? Well, no, May Young has the tag team or what is it? Either way, they have something on NXT, some different tournament, but they do have a women's battle royal at WrestleMania. Naomi won it one year. I want to say Sonya Deville did, but I'm not very confident with that one. But they do have one. Now,
Didn't AJ Lee win some Battle Royal in like at WrestleMania like 30? But I don't think it was the.
no, it wasn't. It was like a multi-man. It wasn't a throwout type of match. It was like a six-pack type of match. Maybe it was a five-way or something, but she won like
Okay,
with her
okay.
Black Widow move, so it wasn't a battle royal.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
Now I don't even know if they're going to do the men's one this year. They haven't advertised it or anything, but they could put her
Well,
in
they usually,
if they do.
yeah, I feel like they usually advertise that like the week before the final SmackDown.
Yeah.
'Cause if I had to guess, they might put that on the SmackDown before again,
Yeah,
and
last
maybe
year it
the
didn't even make
pre-show.
WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see though. I mean, I'd like to see her have a or some sort of role at WrestleMania, but I feel like they might wait until afterwards to put her in a more like involved storyline. But we'll see though.
Yeah, I think so too. Only time will tell.
Yeah. So after that, I guess we can talk about the main segment for that show. And Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins went face to face with The Rock and Roman Reigns. They were there to give their answer to what if they would accept the challenge or not for the tag team match that was laid out between the Bloodline. And so Roman Reigns made his entrance first, and it looked like he was getting ready to go for, the Dallas, Texas, acknowledge me. And then the lights go out, and the Rock's music hit, and man, his entrance was pretty
Yeah.
badass last night. They had a camera view of like the huge screen, and then they had like lightning bolts like coming down, and then The Rock came out. Pretty cool.
Yeah, they're definitely leaning more towards the so The Rock was Black Adam at one point, and
hmm
it's obviously
Terrible
inspired
movie, by
from
the
that.
way.
You said what?
That's a terrible movie, by the way.
I did not see the movie, but I'll take your
Well,
word for it.
don't waste your
Um,
time.
but it definitely was inspired by that Black Adam character. But it was cool. It fits his. It's nice to see him have a different entrance from his. Now that he's a heel again, just like he did with
hmm
Hollywood Rock, he had a different entrance. He had that like the helicopter spotlight thing. The music was slower. I don't think the music itself changed, if I'm not mistaken. But
It was a little bit different because I
okay,
know that.
maybe it was a little bit different, but they still
Yeah,
didn't change it, but I don't think by much. It was mostly just
no, yeah, it's a
theatrics that
little
were changed.
tweak.
But
hmm
you could definitely, there was changes to it. There's also with the Brahma Bull logo that he has, the eyes are now red. And
Yes, yeah,
the
I
small
noticed that.
change, but it just makes his switch between face and heel a lot more evident. So I did think that was a really cool aspect for them to add.
Yeah. So Rock gets in the ring, and then Roman Reigns says Dallas, Texas, and he says acknowledge us. He doesn't do the acknowledge me. He tells the crowd to acknowledge us. everybody in Dallas, throws their ones up, and then Cody Rhodes music hits, and everybody's waiting for him to come down the entranceway, but him and Seth Rollins actually made their way through the crowd, kind of a throwback to the Shield days. It looked like,
Yeah,
and then they went to commercial break during that, and they come back from commercial break, and then Rollins and Cody are just outside the ring getting ready to walk in, and the ring is just like outside the ring. There's just security guards everywhere, just waiting to see what would happen between this segment.
which is, I mean, they had security guards, but then they ended up getting in and confronting them. So I don't really know what the point of that is. I mean, I guess it's just to add to the make it look more tense, I guess. The guards had to break them up or whatever, but they never do that.
Yeah.
They're always just
Mm-mm.
punching bags or whatever. But they yeah, so they came out, they ended up getting in the ring, and Rock cut a pretty great promo. I mean, Rock obviously he always has had great mic skills. So he cut that promo. I didn't watch that exact. I did see the highlights of it, but I do know it was pretty good. Um, the only thing that I did have to note from it that was a little funny is it seems like whenever The Rock has been cutting promos recently, he does seem to have some a little bit of hiccups, like he has to fine tune a little bit, maybe get a little more experience. Last week he was tripping over his words a couple of times, just not stuff Rock usually does. And then this
Mm-hmm.
week he had an even more apparent mess up because he was talking about the build up for it was he was talking about his family, where The Rock was talking about Cody Rhodes' family, and he was basically saying that like, oh, your what brother is this old? Your sister is this much younger. She's a cheerleader, and why do you think you're so much younger? Because you were a mistake. Now, what I did think was funny is that Cody Rhodes' sister is not like he's not like 20 something years younger. They're like 3 years apart. So I don't know what the I don't know what he meant to say for that. Maybe he was talking about Gold Dust being so many years older. Uh
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that was basically the punchline to it, and I thought that was very unfortunate timing to mess up what he was supposed to say. Like I said, I don't know what he was supposed to say, but yeah, his sister's only a few years younger. It's not like 20 something years apart like he said it was. So,
I didn't real. I mean, I
yeah.
heard him say that, but I didn't like think that like yeah, because I was thinking like I don't think she's that much because he was saying that like her Cody's brother and sister is like 20 years older, and
Yeah,
like
no,
said that
maybe
he's a mistake.
now I don't know what the difference between him and Gold Dust is.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what he was talking about. Like maybe the difference between him and, Cody is 20 something years. I don't know
Yeah,
100% sure. But yeah, I thought that was a little funny, just a small little thing. But the promo
yeah.
was still fantastic, obviously.
Hmm.
Cody, he was about to say something. He raised up the mic to speak and then
Yeah.
smacked him. I thought that was fantastic. They finally made Cody not look like like a little bitch, like he's just sitting
Yeah.
there handing over his match to Rocket Mania. Then he got slapped and didn't do anything about it. And then he had his thing with Rollins where he was like, what did he say? He only said like two things. He was like, I'll see, or what did he say? Basically, he just hasn't been like sticking
Hmm.
up for himself. So when he did this, it felt like he got his payback.
Yeah.
He slapped him right back. And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, I actually posted a reaction video to that segment on our YouTube channel. You can go check that out if you want to, and I actually posted a little short of my reaction too. But so more about that promo, Cody Rhodes, he talks about like let's just stand here and just let's just, feel this moment because I mean you got four of the top guys in the company right now all in the same ring. And he just starts talking about that starts talking about how, The Rock, why does he have authority? And then brings up last week when he acknowledged Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns just like looks over at The Rock and says, "That doesn't matter. Just don't worry about that." And then he's going to give his answer, and then Rock says, "No, shut your mouth, boy." And then he just starts talking about how he's just gonna like do it like he always has been saying for the past few weeks. He's gonna do everything in his power to make sure that Cody loses. And he brings up the stipulation again. If he says when the bloodline wins, anything goes. And Roman after that like throws up his one, and then he said something else. I'm trying to remember exactly what they all said. I'm just kind of like trying to remember, but I know he was going to go say something, and then Seth Rollins like just interrupts and was like, "Can you just shut the hell up?" And he starts talking like, that this is our time. You're not going to come in and take our time now. And he actually accepts the challenge for him and Cody. And then Roman says, like he's talking to Cody, he was like, "You really gonna let this clown, accept this challenge for you? You really gonna let this cross dresser,
Yeah.
tell you what the what the answer is?" And and dude, people on social media are like really butthurt that that Roman Reigns said that, and I'm like,
People are gonna get
get
upset
a,
over everything.
I know it.
I
Yeah,
mean, people have to
like
remember on
people want.
social media, it is, millions of people. So no matter what you do, people are bound to get upset. They
Hmm.
want the Attitude Era back, and then when
Yeah,
they start booking it like that, they get upset. So it's
yeah, I was just about to say that. Hmm.
it's whatever. You can't satisfy everybody, but I do it was definitely more edgy, I guess, especially in this day. Like that's just not something that's said very often. So I do think it was more edgy and it added to it more. I think that yeah, it's not anything, and it wasn't like it was like you said. We're just saying it was a like a passing by comment type thing. It's not the basis of it. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, I think people are overreacting. Maybe that shouldn't be mentioned as often. I could understand for PR purposes. They're representing the company, so you don't want to continuously mention stuff like that. But as some throwaway comment every now and then, I don't. I think it just adds to it.
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned it. Well, I mean, one thing I like noticed during this promo is The Rock started talking about at one point he's talking about how he's like on the board of TKO, and he says that he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure Cody doesn't win. He's gonna make the world title go away. And then he says that he's Seth Rollins' boss and Cody Rhodes' boss, and then he kind of pauses a little bit. And and when he pauses, I said like during my live reaction, I was like, I mean, he's Roman's boss too. And
Yeah.
I don't know, like that, just that slight little pause. I don't know, kind of like I don't know, it made me think like maybe I don't know.
They're just subtly adding these little subtle details that
Hmm.
increase the friction, maybe not the power struggle between Reigns and Rock. It's like they have this tension that's not hasn't been expanded on yet. Will very obviously be expanded on in the future coming up pretty soon. But they're just planting seeds for that. And yeah, I mean, I think it's cool though, because like I said, there's dynamics with every single individual feud going on right now. It looks like they're gonna build to Rock and Roman Reigns, obviously down the line. Now, if that's
Hmm.
next year's Mania or at SummerSlam or something, we don't know just yet. But them planting those little seeds, like you said, those little things that you just s- pick up on, I think is fantastic. I mean, they're doing great with that.
Yeah. So it is official now. The tag team match is taking place, as we all expected ever
Yeah, we all
since
knew it
that
was going to happen, but
yeah, ever
it's
since
official.
that press conference. But yeah, it's gonna be a big tag team match. And I'm interested to see how The Rock does in this match. It's his first like actual match since, WrestleMania 29. I mean, he
Yep.
had that, little
Yeah,
like
yeah.
second match at like what 32, but
32.
since
Yep.
then, yeah, like this is his first full match
Actual
since,
test. Yep.
yeah, it'll
But
be interesting to see.
it isn't a tag team match, and I feel like
Yeah.
they intentionally designed it like that, so Rock does get a little bit of not rest. I mean, obviously he's still in great physical shape, but the ring is a bit different. I hear all these wrestlers talk about how you have to only they're so sore after if they take a break for a little while, and the only way to get used to it is by having all this time built up and getting your body more used to it. The Rock doesn't have that. He's not used to it now. So I feel like putting him in a tag team match is going to be a good way to hide his weaknesses and showcase his strengths.
hmm
So yeah, it's still going to be a test nonetheless. So yeah, I look forward to seeing how he is going to fare at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I do too. I cannot wait. I will be, we'll be together watching that. So
Yep.
I plan on doing some more like reaction videos during that weekend, and so we'll see. So you've got that match confirmed. You've got you got the tag team match. You got Reigns, Rhodes, Rollins, Drew. You got right now. You got Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, and then you've got Io Sky and Bailey. So that's five matches confirmed so far. Cards looking
Looking like a
really
stacked
good.
card. Yes, and
hmm
also just another thing for this, for so confirmed already for next week's SmackDown, The Rock is having a concert. And I thought that
Oh,
was
it's confirmed.
yeah, next Friday he's going to be having a concert, segment. Um,
Oh, I saw. Like, is it like actually confirmed? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
oh,
Uh,
because I think last time I saw, they were, everybody was like speculating it, but I
hmm,
mean, dude, that's pretty
maybe.
cool.
Maybe. Okay, well, if it does happen, I am pretty sure if it's not confirmed, then it's at least being talked about. I mean he's scheduled to appear for next week. So I hope it happens then. I would
Yeah,
love
me
to
too.
see that.
hmm
His segments, I mean he did do them when he was face a little bit. I think he had one of those where he like made a song about Vicky Guerrero. I do remember that like back at
Oh
20.
yeah.
But most of his like concert segments are going to be from when he was heel Hollywood Rock, and yeah, I'm really excited to see how he works with that if it does
Yeah,
happen.
dude. hmm I hope it does. 'Cause, yeah, I've seen those reports that they're talking about doing it. So
Yeah,
we'll see. That pretty much does it for everything that we've pretty much covered
yeah.
everything that there is to cover. 28 days away. That's all we got.
Yep, we're getting closer and closer. Every week's been, like I said, a lot of information to cover, a lot of new advancements in these storylines. And as we get closer, I imagine it's only going to get crazier and crazier. So, yeah, I look forward to it. We will obviously, as always, be covering this with the weekly reviews. So, yeah, I look forward to covering what happens next week again.
Yeah, I do too. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video. We plan on doing more than just podcast on this channel. We're obviously going to start doing some like reaction videos. We want to do some other things, but yeah, just subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video, and like this video and share it. And we'll see you guys next time in Wrestling City. Peace.